Welcome back, my dear readers, to The Other Shoe. Hey, it's me, Daniel. I'm doing this video today, well, because I wrote an article, and then I read it, and I kind of felt it was better read than written. So, I'm kind of reading this off the screen as I'm talking to you, so if my eyes stray down and then come back up and back down, you'll know why. I've been wanting to write this article for a long time. It's lived inside of me for a long time. And this article is about the powers that bind us all. Now, let me warn you, the first part of this is going to be a little dry and a little sciencey. Bear with me. But I'm saying the first part because it's kind of important. It ties everything together. Because there are forces in nature. Forces that bind us as humans. Okay, now this is just me sitting and talking with you. So like our reality, there are basically four forces, and I got this from the Unified Field Theory on Wiki. The first one is strong interaction. The interaction responsible for holding quarks together to form neurons and protons, and holding neurons and protons together to form nuclei. The exchange of the particle that mediates this force is the gluon. Okay, next, weak interaction. A repulsive short-range interaction responsible for some forms of radioactivity that acts on electrons, neutrinos, and quarks. It is governed by the W and Z bosons. So the strong interaction and weak interaction have to do with things on subatomic levels. Subatomic. But there's more. Now those two aren't going to figure much in this article. I'm kind of familiar with what they're talking about here. But this has nothing really to do with what I'm writing today. I include them because, well, they are forces. And that's what I mean to talk about here today. Forces. The next one is called electromagnetic interaction. The familiar interaction that acts on electronically charged particles. The proton is the exchange particle for this force. Now, this one is really important. Because of electromagnetic interaction, I am able to make this video and you're able to see it on the internet. Because of electromagnetic interaction, you're able to read my words on whatever device you read it. Watch this video on whatever device you're watching it. So, like, this force is majorly important to the electronic society we live in today. Without us harnessing electrons, a little over 100 years ago, we wouldn't be able to share and read the thoughts we do in the videos that we do. And we take this electromagnetic force for granted. On a side note, though, I'd like to tell you that we enslave electrons to do this. We do. The method with which we make electricity with magnets, if you look at it from the life of an electron, it's pretty terrifying stuff. Food for thought. And the last one here is gravitational interaction. A long-range attractive interaction that acts on all particles. The postulated exchange particle has been named the graviton. Well, this force, gravitational interaction, is the reason why we don't all float out into space. It's what's keeping your feet gripped to the floor if you're standing, and your butt to the seat you're in if you're sitting. So this force is majorly important for life. Without gravitational interaction, all of reality would just be one big old clump of stuff. Gravitational interaction keeps the planets in orbit around the sun. It keeps our solar system in the spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. And it keeps the Milky Way galaxy separated from all the other galaxies that make up the universe. We can see how gravitational interaction is kind of like majorly important. What nobody tells you, what thank God science has not been able to identify, quantify, categorize, manipulate, or capitalize off of, there is another force in nature. And that's what we're talking about here today, people, is the fifth force in nature that dictates our reality. For us humans, human beings, this last force It drives our whole lives. This force is why we go to sleep next to the person we do or we don't. This force plays a pivotal role in each and every person's daily existence. In the paragraph above, I said that science hasn't learned how to categorize, calculate, manipulate, and capitalize off this last force. But science isn't all there is. What is it to say in Hamlet? Of all the things thought of in the universe. Anyway, somebody look that up for me. Thousands of years ago, bitter people did learn, did figure out how to manipulate this fifth force. This force is the reason I believe there is a God. Now, the God I believe in might not look exactly like your God. There might be some of you out there that would not even recognize what I believe as God as what you believe in as God. And that's okay. That's all right. Because you see, thousands of years ago, some bitter people, some very bitter people, and very intelligent and very power-hungry people did something. Did something to this last force of nature. They did the most heinous thing in the world they could. They ripped this last force of nature and God right out of us. Because, you see, I believe in a God that lives and resides within each and every one of us. I think it was Heinlein that put it best. Thou art God. I don't so much believe in a God sitting up there in a sky somewhere on a throne behind pearly gates. And that's because thousands of years ago, some bitter, powerful, and intelligent people ripped God right out of each and every one of us, stuck God up in the sky, and then they put themselves in between us and God. But that wasn't enough. They soon learned they had to take something else from us. Something more than just God. This last and most recent thing they took from us, it is the fifth force of nature. My dear readers, my dear viewers, the fifth force of nature is love. Love is the fifth force of nature. It binds us to the people we hold dearest. It repels us from the people we choose not to love. And of all the forces in the world, out of the forces that enslave electrons to our service, out of a force that keeps our feet on this planet revolving around our sun, the sun revolving in our solar system revolving in our Milky Way, and the Milky Way revolving in the universe, this power of love for us humans is greater than all of that. The year is 2014. Would you be surprised to know that marrying out of love is something we've been only doing since the late 19th century? That's right. For a little under 200 years, mankind has been allowed to marry out of love. Before that, who you married was dictated by your status in life, your parents, your church, genetics, geopolitical forces, or family conflict or conflict resolution. That last one there. Family conflict or conflict resolution is the very crux of one of the greatest love stories in the history of mankind. Romeo and Juliet. The story of two star-crossed lovers, each coming from a different family at war with the other. The tale has been told since antiquity, but was put on paper by William Shakespeare in 1595. This was the beginning of the end of the arranged marriage. that had literally dictated mankind's marriage for the previous 1400 years or more. The first marriages actually happened in the Roman Empire. It was sometime in the 15th century that that marriage was defined as something you had to happen with a priest, i.e. the church interjecting itself into marriage, and in front of a group of people. From the time of its definition and the inclusion of the church in the process, marriage had been an arrangement for a purpose. For the first 1500 years of mankind's existence of marriage in that form, the thought of marrying out of love was completely foreign. You see what they did? You see what they did there? They took love away from us. In antiquity, they took God away from us and said, "No, he doesn't live in each and every one of us. He lives up in the sky, behind a big gate, in a chair." And then they took love from us. And they said we couldn't marry the people that we loved. We had to marry who we were told. Do you want to know why they did this? They did this because they were afraid of the power of the fifth force of nature. They took God from us because they knew they could use a belief in God outside of each and every one of us to separate us. Religion for eons has merely been a device to separate early mankind from himself. Arranged marriages were the logical offshoot of the organization of religions to further separate man from his love and his God being in himself. And boy, say howdy, has it been effective. In many parts of America and in some parts of the world, it is unthinkable for a Christian to love and marry a Jew, for a Jew to love and marry a Hindu, for a Hindu to love and marry a Muslim, for a Muslim to love and marry a Christian, for a Christian to fall in love and marry a Hindu. Need I go on? The act of ripping God and love out of each and every one of us and setting some ambivalent third party between us and our God and between us and our love, well, has been an engine of commerce for centuries. To this day, there are a great many people on our radio who make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars each and every year advocating that you should hate Muslims, that Hindus are different, that the Christians are persecuting the Jews, that the Jews are persecuting the Christians, that you are in any way different from your brother halfway around the world. Mankind has been a thinking animal with an agrarian-based society for 40,000 years. Isn't it about time we took back this fifth force of nature? Isn't it about time we took back God into ourselves? Love is the single greatest force in nature. Love is one of the single greatest forces any man or woman will allow to dictate the course or nature of their existence. For human beings, love would exist without gravity. Love would exist without enslaving electrons. Love would exist without glucons and quarks. I'm writing this article today, I hope, to start a revolution. If only in the mind, but hopefully in the heart and the soul. I hope to start a revolution in man. My dear readers, God lives within you. He doesn't reside within the four walls of a church or a synagogue or a temple or a mosque. Take him back. Take him back and let him live within you. And while living within you, let him guide your actions without blinders. Let him guide your mind and heart and soul without bigotry, without prejudice, without hatred, without anger, without division, without separation, and without everything that blocks you from loving your fellow man. Take your love back. Love is not some flipping holiday to be celebrated on the 14th of February. That's bullshit. Take your love back. Let it live within you. Let it live in every action you take. Let it live in every word that you speak. Let it live within everything you do and every moment of every hour of every day of your life. It's funny. I've studied every religion I can find books on. And out of all the religions I studied, it's funny how most Christians do not realize that the Ten Commandments were not meant for them. How few Christians realized that the single most integral icon to their religion died on the cross to remove the burden of the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments were written by the hand of God for a guy named Moses for a people called Hebrews. Christians have only one law to live by. Love. Anything you do out of love is not a sin. But then that wouldn't let people do things out of anger. Then that wouldn't let people do things out of hatred. That wouldn't let people do things out of bigotry, and that wouldn't let people do things out of prejudice. Did you ever think that that's what Christ and God had in mind in the first place? I have to start a revolution within our species. I'd love to start a revolution within our species in my lifetime. A revolution where we take God back from the guys in the robes and the people in the churches and the temples and in the synagogues, and that we take God back inside us. And we take love back. We take love back from the haters, from the dividers. We take love back from the embittered and the power hungry and the greedy, and we give love to our fellow man. Love is the fifth force of nature. Love is the fourth force of nature, and it has been enslaved, just like the electron, to men. The power that binds us all, my dear readers, is love and love of God. Now here's something I want you to do. For 1 second, just 1 second, I'd like for you to envision God outside your holy relics in your church. Here's something. For 1 moment, visualize God in someone you dislike or hate. Stop right there. Whatever you're doing, stop it right now. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I want you to put down whatever you're watching this on and listen to my voice. Okay? You're not holding it anymore. You're not looking down at my face. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to visualize the face of the single person that drives you the most batshit crazy. Can you see their face? Now, I want you to think and look at their chest and their heart. I want you to see their heart, and I want you to see God in their heart, like a golden glow surrounding their pumping heart. Now that you see their heart with a golden glow, I want you to see love in their heart. I want you to see love in their heart as a red pulse when it pumps. So now with your eyes closed, you should be seeing a heart in front of you with a golden glow around it, and it's pulsing red as it pumps. You're seeing God and love in the heart of someone that drives you batshit crazy. Now back out from their heart, from their chest, and see their face again. Now I want you to look in their eyes. And I want you to look in their eyes and see that same golden glow and that red pulse of love. Not so angry with them, are you? Not so easy to hate them, is it? Don't you see? That was the plan all along. For thousands and thousands of years, this has been the plan. To take God out of us, take love out of our neighbor and our fellow man's heart and eyes. And then to separate us. To separate us by color. To separate us by language. To separate us by religion. And to separate us by faith. But if you really did what I asked, if you really did put down the device you're watching this on and visualize God inside someone that drives you batshit crazy, well then, people, you just took your first step out of this world into the world we deserve to live in. Aye, there's the rub. For you see, my dear viewers, even the modern Christian church teaches us we're not living in the world we deserve. But they have quite conveniently placed the world we deserve to live in after death. According to religions, we all have to die in order to live in the world we deserve. Okay, objectively thinking, is that power tripping or what? I say to you, right now, this day, you deserve to live in that world today. You deserve to live in that world today for the rest of your life. You deserve to live in that world today and for the rest of your life, and you do not deserve to have to die to live in the world we deserve. Only you can make this happen. I can't do it. I've wasted most of my life trying. I have, in my left hand, zombie fingers. Meaning that my left hand, lower left arm on most days is pretty much a grade above ground beef. When I walk, my left leg drags behind me. If you were to see me walking down the street without my cane, without somebody helping me out of my parachair, swear to you would think I was a zombie. You would think I was a zombie. And who loves a zombie? See, that's where it all started falling into place for me, my dear readers. That's when it all started coming into crystal clear focus for me. How the embittered and the power-thirsty few ripped God and love from our bodies and placed barriers between each and every one of us and the fifth force of nature. Without love, there can be no God. Without God, for most, there can be no love. God and love, they are the fifth force of nature. Are you, my viewers, my readers, are you prepared? Are you strong enough? Do you have the will? Can you see it? If you didn't do it before, do it now. Put down whatever you're watching me on. Look away from the screen. Close your eyes and visualize the face of the person that drives you the most batshit crazy. And with your eyes closed, picture God and love in their eyes. If you can do that, my dear viewers, you just cheated thousands of years of oppression. You just freed yourself in this lifetime. You just gave yourself permission to live in the world that you deserve before you died. Congratulations. As always, I'm very honored that you come to my blog, The Other Shoe, and read my work. Honored that you sit and watch a video of me talking to you. From the very depth of my heart, thank you. May God bless you all, and may you all find love. Thank you.